back to Third Take, and this is our second mock draft. We're getting them out a little quicker than we did last year.
Yeah, last year there was one.
There was one, and, it was pretty accurate. What we got today, we should just let this flow. In this, we have one trade. Indy is trading up with Chicago for the number 1 overall pick, and it just seems the most realistic thing to happen. Carolina could, but I feel like that's trading up a little too much for the Bears' liking. They still want to get, one of the top 2 defensive guys. So the trade package, which we did here, probably is not going to happen, but what I think will be the trade package will be 2 to 3 first-round picks and a couple of day 2 picks. So maybe 2 first and 2 seconds for the number 1, or 3 firsts and a second. I don't really see
something like that. When you trade up for a quarterback, it's going to be a lot. It sounds a little ridiculous either way, but it's probably going to be a lot. Quite a few picks. So Joe flipped a coin for the number 1 pick, and I called tails. I got that. So I got the number 1 pick for the Colts, who now have it, and I'm going with Bryce Young out of Bama. Just start off with the main concern that it feels like everyone's just bringing up right now, which is his size. He's listed at 6 foot 195. Probably looks to be about 5'10", 5'11", maybe on a good day. He's small, but he's really, really good under pressure. He can take hits. He's a great decision maker. He throws receivers open. He has elite ball placement, which is the thing both of us like the most about him. Mm-hmm. He just delivers a really good football. He makes big plays. He's a big-time playmaker for Alabama. This Bama team was not the team of years past. They had a really bad offensive line, which led to him getting hit often, and also their receivers weren't that good. They were able to kind of get open, but he definitely had to throw them open, like I said, more than a certain someone from Ohio State where his receivers are butt naked open every play. So Bryce Young, not a whole lot to work with compared to some other guys, and he makes it happen, and he's a big-time player.
At number 2, you have the Houston Texans, and, you're feeling unlucky that you couldn't get, the number 1 prospect in this draft.
They did sell that, though.
They did, but big you know time. What? I respect Lovie Smith and Davis Mills saying, hey, we know we're on the way out, so we're going to take the ship down with us. But you're still going to get a very good quarterback prospect, and you're going to take Will Levis out of Kentucky. For the people saying C.J. Stroud, I know that's the consensus rankings. I'm not going by consensus rankings. From my eye exam, Will Levis just looked better than C.J. Stroud. Now, I'm not going to deny that C.J. Stroud looked very good in that in the college football playoff game. He did, but that was the first time we really saw him actually make plays from his own pocket and, not from his receivers getting open or his offensive line giving him 10 seconds in the pocket. With Will Levis, he really wasn't working with anything at Kentucky. I'm pretty sure Wan'Dale Robinson was there last year. He was gone, so they graduated.
They graduated pretty much their whole O-line too. Levis was getting hit left and right.
And so when people say Will Levis is a project quarterback prospect, I somewhat agree with you, but he's nothing like Anthony Richardson in my opinion. He has very good accuracy from a raw prospect, and the one thing he really does need to work on is decision making, and the accuracy can get a little bit better. But the main thing is decision-making. He does need to improve with that, and I think that's the main reason why people look at him as a Zach Wilson or whatever. But I look at him as he could be the Josh Allen, and, people who like Anthony Richardson, why don't you like Will Levis? Because he's basically a higher floor Anthony Richardson with about a less ceiling than Richardson, but it's not by much in my opinion. He makes tight window throws when he needs to. Under pressure, he's great. He's a very physical kid. He runs into linebackers taking hits a lot like what Josh Allen does. And, he just needs a little bit of refinement from NFL coaches. And in my opinion, all college quarterbacks do. I don't think Bryce Young's some perfect, one-of-one quarterback prospect like Trevor Lawrence is. And one thing, the difference between him and Richardson is that he can start day 1. He has the tools. He just needs to just put them all together, and he'll be great. And like I said, he does take a bit too much sacks, just a little bit. He needs to know when just to get the ball out, throw it away. But other than that, I see a very good quarterback prospect that, isn't the raw talent that I heard him being. He's a very good quarterback, and I think the Texans can start their rebuild confidently with Will Levis, and I think it's a great pick here, and I know I'll get a lot of shit for it, so. But Will Levis, number 2 overall.
All right, got the Arizona Cardinals at 3. You're either going Will Anderson or you're going Jalen Carter here. They're both on the board, and I'm going with Jalen Carter from Georgia. Big D tackle. He's 6'3", 300. I'll start off with the concerns here. Lateral quickness, it's not the greatest, but he's a big dude. It's fine. He's a D tackle. I'm not expecting him to be insanely fast. He has a great bull rush and a great swim move. He consistently draws double teams. He pushes the pocket and pass rush. He doesn't get that many sacks production-wise, but he gets tons of pressures. He's really good at using his hands. He's phenomenal at anchoring down against the run, specifically against double teams. He also is really good at disengaging from blocks. He's a little slow off the ball sometimes, if you guys have seen that. That was the one thing you really mentioned to me when you first watched him.
Yeah, no, his snap timing is atrocious.
It's really bad sometimes, yeah. The main thing I really like, other than the fact that he's a phenomenal 3 technique, is he stacks and sheds against the run super well, and he's really good at using that swim to just insta-shed at the line of scrimmage, because that's what you want. Like, it's a bull rush where you just, push the guy back into the quarterback. Lots of D tackles and really noses can do that. But when you get a guy that's super quick with his feet who can just instantly swim the guy across from him and get the TFL in the backfield, that's what separates a good D tackle from a great one. And I think Jalen Carter can absolutely do that. You can even really put him at like a 3-4 end if you want to. But yeah, 4-3, 3-4 really doesn't matter. 3 tech, 3-4 end, he can do it all, and that's why I'm going with him for an Arizona defense that can use a lot of help on the interior and also the edge, and I think Carter can help you with both of those.
Okay, with the 4th overall pick, you now have the Chicago Bears because of the trade. And here, you might be getting the best player in the draft. Will Anderson. Listen, he is the best pass rusher in this draft, no questions about it. The team shift around him, I saw mainly in that Texas game. They were purposely getting the ball out quick and not to his side. Will sets a great edge, is a phenomenal run defender, and has great hands. He has awesome pass rush moves, mainly the swim. He has an amazing jump, which honestly sometimes when I was watching I was like, there's no way he got that jump off. He was guessing. And then he would do it repetitively, and it just shows how great of a jump he really had. He plays with good pad level, and he gets double-teamed a ton. The best player maybe in college football, getting double-teamed a lot.
You would think you'd double him, maybe chip a tight end or a running back.
And maybe this year the stats weren't amazing like they were last year, but it's because teams would, put a tackle and a guard on him and then maybe put the running back off to chip him. So he was getting bullied basically, but still finding a way to get pressure to the quarterback, a lot like Aaron Donald does right now in the NFL. He makes a ton of TFLs in the backfield. He's quick like that. He has very good lateral quickness from what I saw. And when teams run at him, he can give you a good pop. He's good. He's hard hitting. And another thing is, great spin move. Will Anderson is the total package, in my opinion. Yeah, don't want to play him on the interior D-line,
He's 240. That's really the only concern, is he's really not that big, but his power is nuts, so I really don't care about that.
But everything else, it checks off the box for a generational pass rush talent, a lot like Myles Garrett. And for the Bears to get him at 4, I think it's a steal, and I think they're going to walk away accumulating all those picks and getting Will Anderson. They're going to be very happy campers at the end of the 2023 draft.
Okay, so at 5, you got the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm going with Myles Murphy from Clemson. He's, as much as I love Will Anderson, I legitimately think Myles Murphy is not much worse than he is. I'm still going Will, but Murphy is a hell of a player too. He's super quick off the ball. That's the first thing I noticed. His speed around the edge is ridiculous. He has a really good swim, rip. He can do it all there, but the best move he's got is his one-arm stab. If you guys see Khalil Mack do that, it looks the exact same. He translates his speed into power, uses the one arm, gets under the tackle's pads, pushes him back, and then disengages and gets the sack. That's what he does really well, and that's going to translate to the NFL. He sets a hard edge against the run. He's just as good as Will Anderson in run defense, if you ask me. And they're both phenomenal, but they're both really good guys. And he finds the ball with ease in the run game and disengages quickly. He has a nose for the football, and I think Myles Murphy, he's 3, maybe 4 on my big board. I'm not really sure which, but I think it's good value here at 5 because I think he's a better player than the 5th overall pick, but he's here, and I'm going with him.
Another thing I'll add about him is for the people who are hating on him now, I better have been seeing you guys being very, very mean to Travon Walker because he's Travon Walker with more polish, and that's what I've seen. And I think the hate on him is for no reason. I don't see a good reason why.
He'd be edge 1 for me in most other classes. It's just Will Anderson exists.
I don't see where... Like, I love Tyree Wilson, but I think you need to be medicated if you think that he's better than Myles Murphy.
That. It's so
because
stupid.
Myles Murphy is a complete package, while Tyree Wilson is really only a bull rusher. But he's a damn good one, but I just don't see the comparisons. I think Myles Murphy is an easy edge 2 in this class, and like Martin said, would be an easy edge 1 in any other draft class but this one. Okay, number 6 overall. I've been seeing some buzz about a quarterback here. It's not. Jared Goff was a top 10 quarterback this year. I'm taking Devon Witherspoon, corner out of Illinois. Last time we did a mock, we had Cam Smith number 1. Devon Witherspoon is a better Cam Smith. He's a really good press corner. He's really good off breaks. And listen, I've seen him miss some tackles, but when he makes tackles, he pops.
They die.
They die.
Yeah.
He has really good ball tracking skills. That's what really stood out for me. He does a great job with leverage and keeping his hand on receivers. He can just hit, like we said earlier. He can hit.
He's the best tackling corner I've ever watched.
He's the best tackling corner. He is mean, and he will push someone to the sidelines as long as the refs don't see it. But he's physical. I've seen a couple holding penalties get called on him, but honestly, I'm not worried about that because that was the main concern with Sauce, and guess what? That hasn't been a concern in the NFL. Phenomenal instincts. He has great closing speed, and he's when I say he's a secure tackler, He's not, like a safety where it's, he's going to try to hit stick them or he's going to miss.
I forget what team it's against, but the clip where he just comes in like a missile and ends the guy's life. Mm-hmm. He hits like a safety. He's hits legit. Like safety.
Oh, what I was saying was he's not going to just flat out go for the hit stick. He's a very good tackler as well. He's good in the open field. He does not get crossed a lot, and he plays man and zone both equally very well. And yeah, Devon Witherspoon, I think, is the best cornerback in this class, and it's going to be incredibly hard for anybody to pass him up. Maybe Cam Smith comes back in the future. The only way would be if a guy has a really, really good combine with speed. But
I think they're both pretty good, not great athletes too. I don't think either of them. Christian Gonzalez is the guy that's going to crush the combine. Mm-hmm. Not really either of them. So I think this probably stays about the same. But my favorite thing about Devon Witherspoon, if you guys, there's going to be a player profile up on him that I did pretty soon here, but he's super smart. That's my favorite thing. You can tell this guy watches film. He reads quarterbacks super well, and he's just always. It feels like he's always in the right spot to make a play, and you love that from your corner.
Also, another thing I'll put in here that he does a little bit better than Cam Smith is him in the run defense. He's a weapon in that run defense. He will make a tackle in the backfield, and Devon Witherspoon, CB1, it's probably not going to change. Lions, you're getting a stud here, and you desperately do need corner help.
He's a Dan Campbell guy,
He's a very
dude.
Dan
Campbell guy.
The only other thing is maybe his height. He's 6', 183, so maybe you want Gonzalez, who's a little bit bigger, but I just don't see a reason why you don't take Devon Witherspoon here. I think it's a great pick for the Lions.
All right, we got the Raiders at 7 here, and he's coming off the board now. A lot of you guys probably wanted him at 2. I'm going C.J. Stroud here. To me, C.J. Stroud, good, not great. I'm not sure how high the ceiling is. I've seen him be a playmaker about once. In his whole. We'll just start off there because that's the first thing that everyone brings up with Stroud after the Georgia game happened. yes, he was absolutely phenomenal. Really the first time I've seen him legitimately scramble, first time I've seen him really elevate his team. But my main concerns are whenever he doesn't have like 5+ seconds in the pocket and gets hit, it's just he usually doesn't make a good decision, usually a poor throw, ball placement wise. I haven't really seen him fit the football into tight windows because his receivers are always open by like 5 yards because Ohio State receivers are just absolutely elite at all times. He gets a ton of time because of the O-line. And I question how high his ceiling really is. Think this could,
Mac Jones syndrome.
I think this could be a Mac Jones situation where he's good, but the receivers and offensive line and just all the talent surrounding him makes him look a lot better than he is. And you can't really tell if he's elevating them or they're elevating him. And I lean a lot more towards the second one with C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, no, when I say Mac Jones syndrome, it is like we did not like Mac Jones. If you watched our stuff from
Stroud's better than Mac was in college.
Stroud's better than Mac was, but I get Mac Jones syndrome considering he had arguably the best wide receiver core in college football. He had JSN, Marvin Harrison Jr., and they had another guy. I think he was Nagata.
I don't know. Yeah.
So when I tell you that.
And then you got Paris Johnson and Dwight Jones blocking for you at tackle. Their center, Luke Whippler's going to be a 3rd-round pick, too, probably.
When I tell you that he did not impress me until that playoff game, I mean it. He made no throws where I was like, damn, that's a really good throw. And I have a stat I'll bring up here. In the national championship game, his first 17 passes, right? 16 of them, his receivers were open by 5+ yards. That is insane. Now listen, he made good plays. He made about 3? I saw him play.
There was 5 plays where I was like, oh my god, that's the best QB in the class. And then every other throw, I was kind of like...
And want to know what? Bryce Young makes that throw every day of the week. I've seen him rarely make a tight window throw. I've rarely seen him roll out and throw it, make sure that where the ball can only get to the receiver. I see him panic when when edges are coming off and he doesn't have a lot of time in the pocket. He tries to make dumb plays. It's just I don't like him. He's my quarterback 3. The only reason he's my quarterback 3 is because the other one has this floor of Jamarcus Russell. He just isn't, in my opinion, he's just not great. And we've seen not great quarterbacks go in the draft before and they don't pan out. Or they don't pan out to be, the guy. They get overhyped because of the stats, how many touchdowns they've thrown. Really, it's just the team around him. When you have the best receiving core and arguably the 2 best tackles in the draft, it's going to look easy. They're going to make him look great. And that's why I have Levis above him, is because I just don't think Stroud is a playmaker. And you can say, oh, will he play make in the game? Great, that's 5 plays out of how many snaps he played at Ohio State that he's truly looked like a QB1. And for me, he's just not going to pan out in the NFL when he gets drafted, to a Raiders team where they have no offensive line and to a team where, his wide receivers are going to be less than great. Where it's just...
Well, you got Devonte.
You got Devonte, but we're saying in a hypothetical...
Hunter Renfrow. They got some guys, but yeah, I got you.
We'll see how he is when an edge rusher, when Aaron Donald's coming around the edge and he needs to make a play. We'll see how he breaks it down.
Got to clone Colton Miller and get him to play both tackles.
Yeah,
That's the plan in Vegas.
Let's see how he does, because him even being talked about in Bryce Young's atmosphere is, disrespectful. With the 8th overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons will be selecting Tyree Wilson. This is probably one of the only players we really disagree on. I love Tyree Wilson. When an edge rusher has the wingspan of Giannis Antetokounmpo, I fall in love.
It's pretty nuts, yeah.
He is an insane bull rusher, which is kind of it.
That's all he can do. That's where my concern comes in.
Listen, 6'6", 276 pounds. He has a very good swim move with his bull rush, and he has tons of pass rush upside. And you're really betting on a pass rush upside pick here. And he can play any position on the D-line except nose. Nose tackle, you need to be a hefty boy.
Gotta be 310 plus.
You gotta be a hefty boy. But yeah.
What that means is just, obviously he's going to be an edge rusher, but on third down, if you want to put him at 3-tech, you absolutely can.
Yeah, no, and when I say he's probably the best bull rusher in this draft, if you could include Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's up there, but I think when I saw him play, he was incredible. He is my edge 3, but damn, he's a very good edge for 3, and I think, Texas Tech got a gem in recruiting him, and I think Atlanta is going to be very happy picking him here. And I'll get to the concerns. He isn't really bendy, and that was a concern with Thibodeau last year, and you kind of saw him fall from the number 1 prospect all the way down to number 5.
I think Thibodeau looks a lot more athletic on tape, though, than Wilson does. So that's my concern, because the wingspan is absolutely wild. It's insane. That's where the athleticism comes in, is the long arms. But just the Trayvon Walker comps that I first read are outrageous. They're nowhere close in athleticism.
I would say the upside is about what the Trayvon Walker. I think that's
maybe,
the most. But the athleticism, that's ridiculous.
My thing is just like the bull rush. The bull rush is legit. He really doesn't have any other moves, and he's not a great enough athlete for me to put him top 10 personally.
Me personally, I love him at 8. I think he's going to be amazing for Atlanta, where they could really pick anybody here. They need a lot of needs, and I don't think you're going to reach this high on Anthony Richardson. I don't think you're ready for that.
I think you give Ritter a shot. He looked good to end the year.
And then, Tyree Wilson here at 8 for me. I love the pick.
My real pick.
I'd listen to you. I don't know.
All right, Carolina Panthers at 9. You need a quarterback. Anthony Richardson is on the board, but I'm not doing that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give Sam Darnold or whoever the hell is going to be the quarterback. I don't know, but I don't like Richardson here. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. I think you go get Jimmy G or something. I don't know, but I don't think Richardson's worth a top 10 pick. And I'm going to give someone to whoever they get someone to throw to, and I'm going to give him Zay Flowers from BC. Before everyone freaks out, he's my wide receiver 1.
Our wide receiver 1.
Yeah, both of ours. He's a top 10 player currently on my board. I believe he's at 10. Listen, 5'10", 172. Not the biggest.
Yeah, not the biggest.
The height is not intriguing, but this guy, I did a player profile on him also.
It's up right now.
It's up right there. I'm going to give you guys reasoning here, but it's also there. He gets after it in the run game. He's a very good blocker for someone his size. He's super physical there. Starting off there, I love that. But the real thing with Zay Flowers is his speed and quickness. He's absolutely electric after the catch. He has legit 4.3 speed. He's probably a slot in the NFL because of his size, but he played outside at BC. He has a great route tree. He's the best route runner in the class, in my opinion. He's the fastest. He's the best route runner.
And the shiftiest.
What's not to like there? Mm-hmm. He has really good hands to go with it. Not the best, but probably like second or third in this class. Mm-hmm. You can't press him at the line. Teams try to. That's what people think when they're small, but this is a Devonte Smith situation where their release and route running is so good that you can't touch him at the line, so it doesn't matter what their size is. Even though he's small, this guy still goes up and high points the football and makes contested catches. He's really good at that, even though you wouldn't expect it. But as good of a deep threat as he is with the speed, I think he works best in the short and intermediate areas of the field because he's so good after the catch. He just kind of beats the guy off the line of scrimmage with his great release, gets open, makes 2 dudes miss, and then gets you 6 more yards. Panthers had a guy kind of like this, Curtis Samuel. Just picture that and then put him on crack, and then you have Zay Flowers. He's absolutely insane, and he's a great player. And I'm fine taking him at 9 here.
Yeah, I'll add on a couple more things here. One, the quarterback, atrocious. He made him look good. In the open field, you're not getting him
You just
got to
dive at the knees. You don't have a chance of tackling him.
He's the shiftiest guy I've seen. And, I mean, the speed, the acceleration that he has is the best in the class. I don't think it's even close. And yeah, I love the pick here, and Zay Flowers is an absolute stud. So, I love it here, 9 to the Panthers. Okay, Philadelphia has the 10th overall pick. Stupid that they're in the Super Bowl. Might have won it by now, hopefully. I just don't want to see Mahomes win because he got... Don't talk about the Bengals game.
Joe's pretty much a Bengals fan, in case you guys didn't know.
The refs bailed them out. That 5th down play was idiotic, but whatever. It's stupid that the Eagles have a top 10 pick. And you know what? They have a team that's built for the next 4 years, so I think they can comfortably take a luxury pick here, and they're taking Bichon Robinson. I got called an idiot last time for taking a running back this high. I got called an idiot and they told me to watch more film. You watch more film because Bichon Robinson is a difference maker. Listen, 6 foot 220. He has great speed. He bounces off the edge when I'm telling you.
He's the number 1 player on my board, guys.
Yes, he's the number 1 player on my board.
If we're just going to ignore the fact that running back is not a valuable position,
the best player in college
and we're
football.
Just talking about who is the best player at the sport of football,
it's Bichon.
I'm taking Bichon.
Listen, my comparison for him is, the athleticism of Saquon Barkley and the break tackle of LeGarrette Blount in 2014. It's stupid. It takes a entourage of people to bring him down.
You gotta bring the whole fam to tackle him. It's not good.
You gotta bring the whole Thanksgiving table to tackle him. He's very smart. He's very patient. He waits for a hole to open up. He doesn't force it. And, when he finds that gap, he's gone. He has that burst of speed. He's also an amazing run blocker. He took Will Anderson on 3 times one-on-one, and he didn't allow a pressure. That's always the stat I like to brag about. But want to know what else? He's also an amazing receiver. I'm not talking about checkdowns. He can
I've seen him moss someone on a fade.
Levitate off the ground and catch it like a receiver. Listen, his yards after contact are probably nuts because I feel like the first 2 guys hit him and he's not even stumbling. And he probably gets more yards than he should, but he's just that athletic. Like I said earlier, his bounces are elite. He will juke anybody out of his shoes. I mean, I saw him play against UTEP, and it was unfair. Those guys over there can't even touch him. I'm pretty sure he had 4 touchdowns and 219 total yards on 20 carries. It is stupid. You put him up against a linebacker, he's going to destroy him. You put him up against a cornerback, he's going to level him. I really don't think there's a guy that can really match Bichon. 1, that can cover him, and 2, that can actually run with him and, pace themselves with Bichon. And I'll always say this about Bichon. I think he's a 4-down back. And for the Chiefs, I guess after last week, he's a 5th-down back because they just get 5 plays. But Bichon, I think, is the best player in this draft, and I love him. I'll get called an idiot for taking a running back this high.
I support it, so you guys can roast me too. Also, can you imagine Bichon running behind this Eagles O-line?
Imagine the read options with Jalen Hurts.
That's true too. Yeah.
I remember last year we were talking about Malik Willis and Derrick Henry. That didn't turn out right.
No.
But,
we got the team right.
If I get called an idiot for this, I'll take it. And because I just think Bichon is the most unbelievable player I've seen, and I'll say he's better than what I saw from Saquon in 2018.
All right, Tennessee Titans at 11. You really need receiver. You also really need tackle, and I'm going to give you a tackle here. I'm going to go Broderick Jones from Georgia. He's 6'4", 310. He's not the biggest, but he's definitely big enough. He has really long arms to go with it. He's a really, really good athlete. That's the main thing. He can move out in space. He can pull. You can do a lot of different stuff there. Little bit of a lunger when he's blocking. That's really the only issue. He's great in the run game. He has really, really good feet just to go with it. His hands are super violent. He does not let go once he gets his hands on you. Overall, he's just a really good tackle. I've only seen him really lose a few reps. He just consistently wins, and that's what you want, both at the point of attack in the run game and when he's pass protecting. And his kick slide looks good. Footwork is awesome. There really aren't – I don't have any concerns about footwork, really. There's a couple things that you can maybe clean up. You can always improve. But he's a really good athlete with minimal technical issues. And if you ask me, that puts you at tackle 1 for me. So I'm going Broderick Jones. And honestly, it's kind of close with him and Dwight Jones for me. But I think he clears Paris Johnson easily. And him versus Skoronski is a joke. We'll get to that.
Maybe we'll get to it. Who knows?
Maybe. But yeah, so that's who I'm going with for the Titans.
Number 12, you have the Houston Texans, and I debated about this a lot. I think you could go corner, you could go guard with Torrance. That's what he would have done. But Will Levis, since you just picked him, needs somebody to throw to. And I'm going to take the biggest receiver in the class, Quentin Johnson. 6'4", 215, 42-inch vert. He does, I think, have a somewhat limited route tree, but for his size, he has very good speed. He is, at the worst, Mike Williams. He has a phenomenal body control, less than JSN, and I'll put that out there right now. And his catch radius, being 6'4", is massive. And I'm not talking about, his catch radius is above the chest. No, his catch radius, he can go down and get a ball. He's also, in my opinion, the best. Zay Flowers is up there.
He's really good after the catch.
He's really good after the catch. You saw that in Michigan game where he turned, that I think it was a drag, 8-yard drag, and he turned it into a 76-yard touchdown. And, I think my comparison for him was, a bigger Des Bryant. Go up and get the ball. He, like you said, I think he can run with anyone, any corner. It's a mismatch. His jump ball is the best in the class. And Quentin Johnston, if Will Levis is a raw talent, going to be throwing, balls and, double coverage, I think, going for a 50-50 ball to Quentin Johnston.
Try to make it 70-30 and
yeah,
help
exactly.
Will Levis out.
Making it 70-30, I think Johnston will fit very well in Houston.
All right, New York Jets at 13. Richardson is he's on the board, but I'm gonna save you guys the pain from boomer bust quarterbacks, and I'm gonna get you some protection for whoever your quarterback ends up being, whether that's Derek Carr, Jimmy, whoever.
Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe he's gonna be a Raider though, according to the news right now.
According to everybody,
but I'm going with almost my tackle one, PFF's 88th ranked player for some reason, but I'm going with Dwight Jones. Tackle from Ohio State. I think he's the best tackle from Ohio State, but he's 6'8", 375. This is a big boy. He has really, really good feet and footwork. He also has super violent hands. It's like a bear. You can't go through him because he's so big. You can't go around him because he has 37-inch arms and he has the longest wingspan ever recorded at the Senior Bowl. You can't go through him and you can't go around him. He's super good at using his length to wall off defenders to the outside. He just kind of washes them out, and there's nothing they can do about it. He has super good timing on his punches. His anchor's great. I've seen him false start a couple times, but that's just unless you're Trent Brown, he can't seem to figure out the snap count. But for the most part, you can just coach that out of the guy really quickly. And he's just dominating at the Senior Bowl that just happened a couple days ago. He did really good at Ohio State. I loved his tape. The Senior Bowl just confirmed it. Where for a lot of people, he's really rising. I already liked him before. The Senior Bowl really just confirmed what I originally thought about him. And to me, when you package a guy that's that big, that can legitimately pull and move out on the edge with a really good understanding of the position and great technique, there's nothing to not like with Dwight Jones, and I'll easily take him at 13.
Okay, number 14, you have the New England Patriots. This is our team. I just quickly want to say something to another creator. Bengal, if you... listen, it's your own mock draft. Why are you just sucking off Daniel Jeremiah the whole time?
Yeah.
Keon White, really?
I gotta watch film on him. I will say, Keon White, Senior Bowl, one of the best. Just if we're talking about just one singular rep, probably the best bull rush I've seen all year from anybody. However, the other four were him just getting owned, so he kind of up and down. Keon White, if we do a 2-round mock draft at some point, I got to watch film on him, but you'll probably see us mention his name there. But a lot of power, a lot of athleticism, but got to put it all together. So
17 to the Patriots.
14. He traded down for
because
it. Yeah, but
one of the why just because DJ had him in his top 10. That's the only reason he took him there. He's like, oh well, I really haven't watched him.
Yeah, I haven't really seen much, but DJ. My dad has him at 8.
He compared a DJ mock draft coming out to a Kid on Christmas, and I was just like, Jesus Christ.
That's wild, dude.
Anyway, after that quick little rant, the Patriots at 14. You go tackle. Very much needed, but I think this tackle class is very deep. I think it's deeper than the cornerback class, which I'm going to be taking. Cam Smith. Listen, I know
this
people
is not
might
rigged,
say,
we swear.
Listen, I know he was our, one of our top guys, but just the way the board fell, I know people have him as their CB5. You're outrageous, and you just go by the consensus rankings. Listen, when I watched him,
I swear we don't have we don't have I want to be different rankings.
That's somebody else that we know.
This is what I see and what I think. If we love Cam Smith as CB2. Most people, he's like 5, but I don't see how that's the case. But yeah, we're not trying to be different. This is what we think.
Cam Smith. Basically, Devon Witherspoon, just slightly worse in a lot of categories. And when I mean slightly, I mean slightly. Cam Smith, really good tackler, physical in the run game. I mentioned both of those with Witherspoon.
They're pretty similar.
They're very similar. Yeah. Great in the run game. He also has very good ball tracking skills. I didn't, when he got thrown at, if he couldn't catch it, he was still getting his hand up. I think he's very athletic. Not as athletic as Christian Gonzalez, but he's still very, very good. He good ball tracking skills. Really good hip to hip. Once again, the main thing I said with Witherspoon. No one got open on him from what I saw. And I'll always say this. He might allow a 5-yard curl. He might allow a 6-yard in, but they're not attacking him deep. And as a corner, you never want to give up the deep ball. You're okay with giving a 5-yard curl when you're up by 14 points. He's very good. He's just slightly worse than Devon Witherspoon. And, he drives you back in the run game. Very good in the run game. He will get in the backfield. They will send him on corner blitzes, and he will blow that running back up. And, I mean, the only thing I'll say is maybe, develop a little bit of a press man guy, but that's just not his game, so.
He's more of an off guy
he's an
than
off
press,
guy.
which it works either way.
But Cam Smith, 14 to the Patriots, I'd be ecstatic if he fell here.
Oh, yeah, same.
If he fell here, my God, I would, I'd be jumping right on to YouTube, and I'd be like, guys, we just won the draft.
Yeah. Okay, 15, you got the Green Bay Packers on the clock. And I'm going to go with Michael Meyer, tight end from Notre Dame. There's definitely a few other positions I could have gone with. I know tight end's not the most valuable, but Joe literally just said this, but he's probably the second best pass catcher in this whole draft, so I'm cool taking him at 15. He's 13 on my big board, so this is pretty good value. He's 6'6", 265. He's a big tight end. He's really quick off the line. He does a great job of boxing out defenders. He's a legit red zone threat. Also, a really good run blocker. That's where the baby Gronk comparisons come in. Mm-hmm. Definitely, he's not going to be Gronk. No one is. But he's definitely in that same mold. He's a safety valve for his quarterbacks. He's really good at just getting open, sitting in his zone, catching it, driving his legs for another 3 yards. He's tough to bring down in the open field. Tacklers just bounce off him. He's big and he's tough to tackle. And you can also play him in the slot if you really want to, which I think the Packers would probably like to do a little bit. Just gives you some more versatility there when you have a super young receiving core to begin with. And it's the Packers. They don't take receivers in the first round, but who knows? Maybe they'd like to take a tight end. Tunyon's a free agent, and I don't really see them bringing him back.
No. I love Tunyon, though. I love you. 2020 fantasy year. I love you.
But yeah, I think Meyer can definitely help. Probably Jordan Love's development.
Yeah, he's going to help Jordan Love.
It seems like Rodgers is out of there for the third year in a row. Who really knows?
We were also talking about this exact same thing last year.
Yeah. So who knows if Rodgers is going to be there, but either way, you help whoever your quarterback is, probably Jordan Love. You help him out here, and you help his development with Michael Mayer.
16, the Washington Commanders. I think you got a lot of needs. I mean, I guess you could go quarterback here, but I think you need a sure thing. Maybe you can, get out there in free agency. Maybe, a Lamar, a Rodgers, Derek Carr. O-line could be a need. But first and foremost, cornerback. And somehow Christian Gonzalez has fallen here. He's our cornerback 3, but he's the most athletic corner in this draft.
He's a top 10 player for me, though. Cornerback 3 is not hating on him whatsoever. It's just we like Cam Smith and Witherspoon more.
Physical press corner who is very good in off coverage, too. Listen, rumored 42-inch vert. So there you go.
Same as Zion, guys. He's an athlete.
He's an athlete, and with being 6'2", that's insane. He's very good in zone. He's good in man. Like I said, he'll allow a comeback or a 5-yard, but I don't think I saw him get thrown on. Maybe he got thrown on twice.
I didn't see him get beat anywhere close to being beat.
He didn't get beat once in the games that I saw. He has legit recovery speed. The one knock on him the reason why I put Witherspoon and Cam Smith higher than him is him in the run defense. He's not a really great run defender, but listen, neither was Sauce. He wasn't great in run defense, but being a physical, great man press corner and just having a guy who you can say, go put him on an island. We don't have to worry about that guy. That is very valuable to any NFL team. And listen, he takes some bad angles, but there's no lack of effort there. And, here's another fun fact. He's only been playing cornerback for 3 years.
It's nuts that he's as good as he is.
So when he's a top 10 player on our big boards, and he's only been playing the position for 3 years, he's going to be disgusting.
I believe he was a running back in high school, which probably a really good back in high school.
He's going to be disgusting in the league, and, if there weren't 2 amazing corners ahead of him, he'd probably be CB1. But, yeah.
This is about as good as a fit as you're going to get, too. I mean, when you got Washington's D-line in front of you and you're a corner, Christian Gonzalez, if he goes here, is probably going to be loving it because he's not going to have to hold up for that long till that pass rush gets home.
Even though he could cover for 10-plus seconds.
Yeah, they will not need him to, so.
Yeah.
Steelers, 17. This guy's top... I think he's 11 for me right now. He was top 10, but I had to move Zay Flowers up in there when I watched him. But this is one of my favorite players in the class. You're going to help out your interior O-line here, and you're going with Osiris Torrance from Florida. I'll just explain the shuffling, because I think most people probably take an O-line, they think tackle. But, I mean, ideally you get one at 32, probably two, because Dan Moore's trash. But basically you're going to put James Daniels at center, which is what he played in college. He can do it. Kendrick Green is a bust. He's not good. And then you're going to rock out with Kevin Dotson and Torrance as your interior. That's a great interior. You're going to help out Najee and Pickett with that. But that's just what your O-line's going to look like because James Daniels is listed at guard. So, it doesn't really... Taking a guard wouldn't make sense here unless I told you guys I was going to do that. But, yeah, Torrance, he's a great player. He's 6'5", 345. Looked good at the Senior Bowl. Another guy that was there. He's super powerful in the run game. He more than held his... You guys, I took Carter at 3. I love him. He held his own against Carter. I wouldn't say he won, but he didn't lose either, which going against Jalen Carter, not losing is about as good as you can do. He has very good feet for a guy his size. He has a really solid base. He has a really good anchor. He has awesome hand placement. That's really the thing that stuck out to me the most is just he always has inside hands. They're always in a good position where he can just grab the dude and not let go. And just like I said, once the hands are on you, you're not going anywhere. You're done. He only got beat a couple times by Carter with an outside swim and a bull rush, which are literally his 2 best moves, so I'll take that. He's not a great athlete. He's a little bit slow laterally, which is why even though he has tackle size, you're going to keep him at guard because I think he's too stiff in the hips to play tackle, but his hips are good enough for a guard, and with how good his hand placement and feet are, it kind of makes up for maybe not being the best athlete. But even though he's not the best athlete, he's good out in space and he can pull well. If you put this guy in a gap scheme like Pittsburgh, he's going to open up lanes for Najee. He's going to help out Pickett's development. And you're going to bring... This is, to me, Steeler football, it's boring, 17-13 wins, ideally. And, Torrance helps you have good lanes for Najee. Which he needs.
For those concrete feet, he needs at least...
But I think Torrance definitely feels like a Steeler, and I think Tomlin would definitely love him here. And he helps good old Steeler football. So that's why he's going here.
18, you have the Detroit Lions. For a team that almost made the playoffs, I feel like you guys, could need a little bit, a good amount. Nothing on the O-line and nothing at receivers, so I think you're set there. And running back. And, people might be saying, take Richardson here. No, Jared Goff had a Pro Bowl year. He was very good. He was a top 10 quarterback this year. So you look to the defensive side. You're like, their run game wasn't great. I don't really like Brzee that much. I think he's a first-round pick, but how high he can go, I don't really know. So I settled on edge. I'm taking Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith, hands are strong, great moves. He has better finesse moves than he does, bull rush moves. I'm pretty sure he's on the lighter side. He can also cover. He can cover the flats. He can cover the middle of the field. Don't ask him, go on a wheel with a running back. But, he can basically cover most of the short side of the field. Other things he's good at, he's very good in the run game. I see him in the backfield. He lives in the backfield. I mean, he's faster than most tackles to get around the edge. And surprisingly, he's stronger than what his size shows. He's able to bull rush, guards and get in the backfield. Great speed. He's on that Georgia defense, and he started on that Georgia defense as a sophomore last year, that legendary Georgia defense. So the kid is good when he's playing alongside Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, and on the edge with, Jalen Carter, Trayvon Walker. I mean, the kid.
Jordan Davis.
Devonte
Wyatt. The team was stupid.
He started on that D-line, and he is very, very good. And you're getting a guy who can cover and can also pass rush very, very well. I think the Lions are very happy to take Nolan Smith here.
19, Tampa. Brady just retired. Here's your replacement quarterback, but, not immediately because he's not exactly ready. But I'm taking Anthony Richardson from Florida. This is a guy who's 6'4", 232. I'll start off with the negatives. Accuracy, understanding how to read a defense. Basically...
understanding how to read a defense. He doesn't know how to read a defense.
Almost everything about playing quarterback that's not throwing the ball really far and running, you kind of need to at least check up on and make sure he knows how to do it. But this is a dude who is absolutely ridiculous in the open field, and also juking out defenders in the run game, and also a dude who can legitimately throw the ball 70 yards in the air. His deep ball accuracy, when he hits it, is unbelievable, but the accuracy's bad. But it's like a home run hitter, It's like Joey Gallo when he was good.
Yes.
Not now because he sucks.
Adam Duvall.
It's like Joey Gallo when he was good. He makes contact. Oh my lord, that's gone 440 plus.
Yeah.
But
he
doesn't.
He's striking out 3 times a game. Here's what it is. He's going Anthony 1 for 4. With a 3-run home run and 3 strikeouts.
Yes, and Anthony Richardson is throwing 7 balls at his receiver's feet and 3 just beautifully in the breadbasket on fades. So, he's got to process stuff faster and needs to work on his decision making. You get multiple throws decision making wise where you're just wondering if he's played Madden before, because you're like, dude, the corner's right there. Why are you throwing that?
I honestly don't think he could, read a zone defense. He couldn't tell the difference between a zone and a man defense. Even if he puts a guy in motion and the guy's following him, he'd be like, I think it's zone coverage.
I'm pretty sure it's zone. But Richardson, the ceiling is unreal. The ceiling is Randall Cunningham for me. The floor is a
Jamarcus
good old
Russell.
No,
Zach
not
Wilson?
quite, not well, close. Most of you guys maybe don't. The few old heads watching this video might know it. You might know him as Slash Cordell Stewart. You're gonna get some plays where you're like, this is fun, this guy's awesome, and then most of the time you're watching him, you're gonna be like,
what the hell
your eyes are bleeding, and you just want it to get off the screen.
Yeah.
You're hoping Tommy Maddox comes in, and it's just Richardson could be great. He's the definition of boomer bust. People throw it around with Will Levis. It doesn't make sense for him, but Richardson, it's just a coin flip.
It's less than a coin flip. It's more of
not even
80-20%.
Yeah. If he goes to a team like Tampa Bay who could maybe develop him, you could be looking at a stud. If he goes to the Jets, he's going to be a backup.
Tampa doesn't have great QB drafting either.
Yeah, that's true.
Jameis.
But I don't know. Well, yeah, that's true. We'll see. But point is, if he gets developed, you're going to be looking at a top 5 quarterback. If he doesn't, he'll be out of the league in 5 years.
At least Brian Leftwich can't hurt him. Because he made Brady look
that's true.
awful.
But yeah, Richardson, boomer bust, that's the moral of the story.
Okay, so Seattle Seahawks, you're picking at 20. guard is kind of gone right now. I mean, you could, I guess, pick Cody Mock or Peter Skoronski to play at guard because both of them are not tackles. And, but also, you got to look at that wide receiver position and be like, look at the age of Tyler Lockett. And that's where I'm going to go with here. I'm going to go with Jordan Addison. Listen, Jordan Addison will fight for extra yards, not fall down and, ask to get a blanket put over him like Tyler Lockett does. Listen, he's dynamic in the open field. Second to Zay Flowers, in my opinion. Second best route runner in the draft. Weighs nothing, but you can't touch him when pressing. He's very much like Devonte Smith. He has very good hands, and he has different releases, which is very important. If a DB catches onto your release and you're trying to run a slant, guess what? They're just going to shade to that side, and you're going to have a tough time getting open. But having different releases is very essential for a wide receiver. He does get involved in the run game on sweeps, some RPOs on screens, but him on a jet sweep or a touch pass, he's very lethal in there. And, I think, having a guy who will actually get hit and try to force extra yards. If it's a 4th and 5, Tyler Lockett's catching a 3-yard slant, and he's, going down immediately.
Nah, he'll dive forward to get the first.
But Jordan Addison...
He's not getting hit, but he'll dive.
We'll fight for it. And he's also a legitimate and deep threat. He's not just, 5-yard out, 10-yard corner. He can stretch the field. He finds the soft spot in zone coverages. I think that's a common trait with him and Zay Flowers is that they find the soft spot in zone defense. But yeah, I see Jordan Addison going here. Maybe not a popular pick because I know Tyler Lockett, but he's at 31, guys. He's getting up there.
Most teams run 3 receiver sets at all times, anyways, too. So you get them all on the field at once.
So yeah, maybe Jordan Addison doesn't do a whole lot year one, but when Tyler Lockett inevitably retires, he's going to be a great 2, right? He's going to complement DK very well.
Okay, 21st pick, got the LA Chargers on the board, and I'm going to go with Gravon Dexter, the D tackle from Florida. They've tried to fix the D line. They really have. They've tried to fix the run defense. They put a ton of money into it. It just hasn't worked, and you just got to keep hitting it until it works because you can't continue to just get bent over like they have been. So Gravon Dexter, he's 6'6", 313. He's a big boy. He's more of a nose, but you can still play him at 3 technique on passing downs if you want to. He's a really good athlete. He made a diving pick against Kentucky. If you guys have seen that, that's a nuts play that really just shows how good of an athlete this guy really is. He anchors super well against the run. He can 2-gap with the best of, honestly. I mean, yeah, Carter's better at it because he's amazing, but his 2-gapping ability is very good. He stacks and sheds really well, too. And my favorite thing is he's really good about using his hands, which is something that sometimes you don't really see with like these big nose tackles, but he's really good at that. And he also has a good rip and swim to go with it. He benches 425. He's a big, strong athlete.
That's light.
Yeah, right? Can do that all day. But he's just a rock in the middle of your defense that you have to move. And if there's one way to fix this god-awful Chargers run defense, I think he's your guy.
They tried it, and it failed last year.
Yeah. He's not the greatest pass rusher, but because he's such a good athlete and he does know how to use his hands, he can still get you pressure. And at worst, he's just a really good nose tackle, even if he never develops more as a pass rusher, which I think he will because he has some good upside. And, you got Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack there. I'm sure you can learn a few pass rush moves from them.
Pick 22. You have the Baltimore Ravens. You might be picking Tanner McKee here on draft night.
But, no, they have Huntley, dude. They're good. Pro Bowl quarterback. Pro Bowl QB. Killed it in the throwing competition with no defenders.
But here, you could go tackle, but I'm not, qualified to talk about a tackle. So I'm taking a receiver here. I'm taking JSN. He's taken a lot of crap the last, couple months, and I think people forget that he was the best wide receiver in college football last year. And listen, he's one of the best route runners in this draft. He's really crisp, amazing hands, amazing body control. I'll go in depth here, but my player profile of him is up on YouTube now. He's more quick than fast. I think he has very good edge speed, but he does not have home run speed. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, his home run speed ain't there. His edge speed is, though. He can go run around a guy for a first down. He makes things happen after a catch. He's very shifty. And, that is very, very needed for a small guy like him. But just because he's a slot, he can go up and make great jump ball catches. I love JSN. And, he won't, like Zay Flowers, the ability to find a soft spot in his own defense or any defense. Personally, I think he's very unguardable if you have him in a slot corner. I think he wins that matchup almost any time. He's kind of a body catcher. Doesn't really use his hands a lot, but when he does, he's very good with it. But, body catcher, hopefully something that just gets taught, out of it. And he's not going to drop a pass for you unless it's, an uncatchable ball that's thrown by bottom 5 quarterback C.J. Stroud. But,
nice.
Guys forget that he had 350 yards against Utah.
That was such a nuts game.
So, I don't know why he's getting so much hate. Yeah, he's a slot, but he's probably the best slot in college football, and he's going to be one of the better slots in the NFL. And JSN to the Baltimore Ravens, you need receiver. I think it's a perfect pick.
23rd pick, Minnesota Vikings are on the clock, and I'm going to go with Felix Anudike-Uzama out of Kansas State. He's a 6'4", 254-pound edge rusher. He's a really good run defender out on the edge. He's very disciplined in his rush. He has a really good bull rush. He plays with crazy power. For someone that's 255, obviously that's a big dude, but his power is pretty similar to a guy like Tyree Wilson, who is 275 and has 20 pounds on him. His power's crazy. He chases down tons of plays. He plays it with a great motor and hustles all over the field. He has really good bend to go with it. His swim move and his cross chop are absolutely lethal.
Like Andre Carter's.
Yeah. He does a great job batting away guys' hands when they're trying to wash him to the outside. And the thing I like the most is he's early in the game. He's a very smart rusher, and I think he understands he has a good feel of the game because early in the game, he'll go outside and he'll try to win that way. And then later in the game, when it really counts, you see him set up the outside swim, and then he'll spin back inside or something and beat the tackle that way. His inside counter moves are really good, which is something that a few other guys in this class really struggle with. And he also does a good job of always rushing with a plan, and he has multiple moves in the toolbox that he can pull out at any time when he needs to. And he's 13 on my board, fell pretty far to 23 here, so it's best player available for me, and it's a great pick.
At pick 24, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars. 27-0 comeback. Wild. Lawrence really took a step up this year. Josh Allen type leap, in my opinion, this year. And he looked great. You're getting Calvin Ridley as a receiver next year, too. I think they're going to do great things.
Yeah. I see a lot of people saying they need receiver. No. They have Ridley. Kirk is a great number two. Zay in the slot. They're chilling. Their receiving core is awesome.
Maybe offensive line. You could go for a tackle, but I don't think... well, there could be a tackle here, but I just don't... I'm not going to take him here. But I think one thing you do need is secondary help. You have Tyson Campbell. That's really it. And you're going to take Joey Porter Jr. here. Listen, we'll get it out of the way first here. He cannot cover in zone coverage. He is one of the worst zone coverage defenders I've ever seen. But guess what? You play to his advantage, and he is a press coverage guy. And he looks like one of the best corners, if not the best corner in the draft when you put him in press coverage. Doesn't play well in off coverage. He's uncomfortable in off coverage. He has good instincts and ball skills. He's a good tackler, which is very important. He's pretty good in the run game, mostly because he's very physical, and he'll toss that receiver off him to get to that running back. He's amazing if you're running short routes. Slants, digs, you need a 4th and 5 to win the game, and you need to stop, and they're going to try to go to their best receiver on a slant route to try to get him. He's going to clamp that up. He's very, very good in man coverage. The only thing you got to work on the consistency with that zone coverage. I mean, he looks like he couldn't cover an amputee. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. He gets cooked every time, and that's another thing is his hip level isn't great, especially in zone coverage. I feel like he just gets tripped up too much. He gets fooled by double moves. and that's just one thing you gotta work on. Purdue game, which I watched, gave up 4 passes pretty much in a row. Just like they were like, all right, let's keep targeting him. We're gonna hurry up, bang, bang, bang. But then at the end of the game, clamped because they adjusted, put him in man coverage. But listen, you play to his strengths. He's gonna be very good. He's another long cornerback, 6'2". He's in that conversation with Gonzalez and Ringo as height-wise. But here, Joey Porter, I think it's a good pick. You're going to get a lot of help in that secondary, and, all the pressure's not going to be on him. You got Tyson Campbell, who had a very good year. So, Joey Porter Jr. Here to the Jags. It's going to be a great pick.
All right, you got the Giants at 25. This was a really tough pick for me. You need corner and receiver, but to me, there honestly isn't worth one taking, so I'm going with just the best player on my board right here. And Azeez Ojulari was banged up for a lot of last year. You can never have too many pass rushers, in my opinion, so I'm taking Andre Carter from West Point or Army. He's 6'7", 265. This dude's a freak athlete who sets a really good edge. He's a really good run defender as well. We're just gonna bang out the white stereotypes here just to start. But I mean, this is a kid who went to the West Point Academy. Obviously, he's gonna be a good leader. You would assume, first one in, last one out. He works hard. That's what it seems like to me.
High motor.
He does have a high motor, though, legitimately. And legitimately, I think this dude's a great leader.
Sneaky athletic.
And a good locker room guy, obviously. If
Hopefully,
he's
yeah.
a good locker room guy coming from...
He's going to be very coachable,
Yeah.
I think, he'll deal with any
NFL listen, if you got a drill sergeant yelling at you, you can handle your edge coach
You can handle Brian Dable screaming
That's
at you.
what I'm saying.
You can handle a teddy bear screaming at you.
Exactly. But, a lot of good stuff, in the locker room and off the field, obviously, but he's still a great player.
Unlike Micah Parsons.
This is the anti-Micah Parsons. So he's definitely more of a speed rusher than a power guy. His best moves are his outside cross chop and his outside swim. Those are, at the Senior Bowl, he had 2 absolutely nuts reps where he just absolutely cooked the tackle. The first one was Blake Freeland from BYU, another first one in, last one out guy.
Great guy. Follows our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Those 2 guys was the Cracker Bowl.
It was. And Andre Carter bodied
It was
him.
who loves Jesus more.
It was who loves America more. And Andre Carter said, I went to Army, not BYU. But his bull rush is really solid when he decides to use it. The main thing, I talked about this with Felix earlier, Carter really just needs to learn how to do inside counter moves, because you saw this at the Senior Bowl especially. When his outside move got shut down, he tried to just win with just by sprinting to the ball, which, I mean, you love the effort, but you got to do a move somewhere, dude. But you just got to work on the technique with him. He has the athleticism and the coachability to make it work. I think he'll develop really well. And he plays a little high sometimes. That's another concern. But this is a dude, he's a little bit of a raw player, but this is a guy who put up 15 sacks in 2021. The college production is there. He only had 4.5 this year because he got triple teamed damn near every play. But this is a dude who can cover too. I mean, Army ran a weird defense that put him in coverage, and he could do it from what I saw. So I love Andre Carter a lot more than most people do, actually. But I'm fine taking him here.
Everybody who doesn't, he just hates.
You're a commie you're a commie if you don't like Carter. So I'm not. I love this country, and I made a player profile about him. If you guys want to check that out, I'm a huge fan of Andre Carter, and appreciate all he's done, both on the field and off. So thank you, brother. And you're going 25 to the Giants.
Seriously, though, he's opening up, the ability for players, who want to serve their country,
which is great,
to go to Army and actually make it to the NFL. And he will be doing a service after the draft, after his NFL career.
Just like David Robinson did for the NBA, which is dope. And I think he's going to be a great player. And
an even better soldier.
Goddamn right.
Dallas is on the board now. Probably need a new coach after whatever that, last play was against the Niners.
How is Zeke at center not a good idea? What do you mean?
Listen,
Snap looked good. Snap was good from Zeke. Everything else was rough, but Snap was good.
I did consider taking Jahmyr Gibbs here because Zeke is washed.
And Pollard could be gone.
So, That's all I'm saying. If Bichon's here, you're taking him.
Better,
you shouldn't.
yeah.
But I'm taking Jalen Hyatt because T.Y. Hilton as your third receiver, no bueno. No bueno.
Noah
Jalen
Brown
Hyatt
bullied me in Madden,
Yeah,
so
that's
maybe
true.
he'll be good in real life.
Jalen Hyatt, 6 foot 180, legit 4.2 speed. He's probably fastest guy in the maybe Zay.
I would say
up
he's
there.
faster than Zay. I've seen, I think the projection for his 40 is 4.27, which is nuts.
So yeah, listen, he had 5 or 6 TDs from busted coverage. He does have a limited route tree, but he's a great deep threat.
He runs 2 routes.
Yeah,
it's post slant streak. That's 3.
He's super shifty and great after the catch. He's a very good separator with that 4.2 speed. Main issue, like we said, route tree. He's a good route runner. Once again, just a few routes though. If he can, learn to run the intermediate routes, I think he'll be very, very good. But you gotta rely on more than a slant, post, and streak. And he can burn any DB, but if he's playing that wide receiver 3 role for Dallas behind Gallup, I'll take him over any DB speed wise. So but he's a solid blocker as well. I mean, I know you're not going to be running the ball much because Pollard really is that heavy rely on back. He's more of a momentum shifter or whatever. But probably in Dallas. He's not going to need the block for long because if you do keep Zeke, he's going to go down after 1.5 yards. And then if you're going to give it to Pollard, it's going to be on a screen pass, and hopefully he can get out and block for you. But, yeah, Jalen Hyatt here, I like it. I think Dallas, you do need a receiver. I don't think really anything else you need. You need more offense. What you actually need? You need a better quarterback. I'd rather have Taylor Heineke over Dak.
Oh,
but, yeah. It's it. Funny, but all I'm saying is Daniel Jones looked better in the playoffs than Dak did.
He did.
So
Dak was nasty against Tampa.
Yeah,
but
so
against the Niners,
and Daniel Jones was disgusting against the Vikings.
It's true.
So yeah, you probably what you need is a good you need a good accountant to really help Dak get that price tag down from $40 million to what he plays at, which is about $15 million. So Jalen Hyatt hopefully helps him out, and I think he's a great pick for the Cowboys.
All right, pick 27. Bills on the clock. This is rough playoff history.
Yeah, guys. So remember all that crap you've been talking about?
The preseason Super Bowl favorites every year.
Success.
Not.
Guess what? We New England. We also have 0 rings in the last 4 years.
It's true.
Want to know what? So do you guys. You guys might have been to more championship games and
Won
divisional
more playoff
rounds.
games, but yeah.
But guess what? You got nothing to show for it. And yeah, Josh Allen needs to stop, playing like the ball is turnovers don't exist.
Sure.
You also need, Diggs to show up in playoff games because he hasn't had a touchdown reception since 2019 or 2020. He hasn't had
against us?
Probably.
Yeah.
I know he has not been very good in the playoffs whatsoever. Yeah. Also, maybe a running back would help. Having a run game.
Having a run game would help.
You want to know who was a perfect example of that? The Bengals, because guess what? They owned you in that playoff game with Joe Mixon.
So, and for the actual player that I'm taking for the Bills, I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm taking Antonio Johnson from A&M. You really need safety. Their safety situation is really tough because it's
Micah Hyde injured.
Neck injury too. Might never play again.
Jordan Poyer, I'm pretty sure he was
torn labrum for the whole year.
DeMar Hamlin died on the field.
Yeah.
And then was brought back to life. So
Poyer, I think, is a free agent too. So they literally might not have a single safety next year.
Yeah. So little bit of a rough patch for your safeties.
Yeah, and it's a great safety group too. It's really just terrible what's happened to it. But you're taking Antonio Johnson here. He's 6'3", 195. He's a big hitter and a secure tackler. He's aggressive coming downhill to help with run support. This is a dude that can play in the box. He can play a deep safety for you if you really need him to.
A nickel if you really need him.
Yeah, he's great. He's honestly better in man coverage than zone, which is pretty wild for a safety. I mean, he can do both, but you can put this guy in the slot if you need to. I mean, Buffalo probably wouldn't do that because they have Teron Johnson, and he's an awesome slot. But, he's a smart player. He has really good play rec. He has good fluid hips, and he's a very solid all-around safety. I'm a big fan of Antonio Johnson. I think he's around 24, 25 maybe, so this is just right about where I'd take him. And for a team that really needs safety, I think it's a good pick.
Okay, the should-be 2023 Super Bowl champion Cincinnati Bengals.
Get out of here. Your Bengals just can't finish the job.
I love the Bengals. I really do love the Bengals. And it's sad to see them get robbed like that from the NFL. But let's not sugarcoat it here. The offensive line, once again, showed their biggest weakness. Yeah. Listen, Burrow, got sacked like 4 times? I'm pretty sure.
5, something like that.
Chris Jones owned that O-line, and guys, you saw when Burrow...
Lyle Collins is majorly injured. He's on a 1-year deal. He might not come back. They need help.
You saw Chris Jones maul that offensive line. And you saw Burrow, when he had time to throw, he made a good throw. Most of the time. And I'm going to get you a guy that, although you guys don't really run the ball as much as you did last year, so I'm going to take a guy that pass protects really well. I'm going to take Paris Johnson.
Yes, he's still here.
Yes, he's still here.
He just fell. We like him, but he just fell because we went with other guys. Not a lot of teams in the 20s really need tackle.
No.
Or late
You would think, good teams have good offensive lines, but the Bengals somehow make it to the AFC Championship without one. Very strong hands, great awareness for stunts and movements. Misses punches and lunges more than you want, so you hope he doesn't turn out like Evan Neal this year because, Jesus Christ, 54 pressures and 4 sacks in the playoffs is unbelievable. By the way, 54 pressures during the season, not in the playoffs.
That would be every play.
He gets too high in his stance. Once again, he's not a dominant run blocker. He is more of a pass protector. He's pretty
average run blocking wise.
He's very quick off the ball, solid pass pro. He can legitimately move out on the edge and can redirect most people if he gets faked out. And anchors well for the most part. And like you said, just the big thing is that he's an average run blocker, but he's an above average pass blocker. And I think the Bengals are going to get a very, very good, big offensive lineman who's also a great guy. He helps out special needs kids, so you're going to get a good locker room guy, good leader. And Paris Johnson, hopefully, for God's sake, can help out that Bengals offensive line.
All right, we got Saints are here now. Traded Sean Payton to Denver, so
That's so weird. That's such a weird
It's so weird that they're in. Traded the retired coach to Denver for a first-round pick.
So Denver, you basically gave up 3 firsts, 3 seconds, and very good skill players for Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. You don't love that, but Saints, the O-line's a concern. I'm going to address that here. Overall, I like Trevor Penning last year, but something that I did say, if you go back and watch, I did say in the video, he has super stiff hips and would probably fit better as a guard. That's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take Darnell Wright from Tennessee. We're going to move Penning to left guard, and Darnell Wright's going to play tackle. You're going to have him and Ramczyk, and you're going to have an elite tackle duo. Darnell Wright is, I think he's 16 on my big board, so he fell pretty far here. I'm a huge fan of his. He's had an awesome Senior Bowl. He's 6'5", 342. He's technique-wise is the second best tackle in my opinion, other than Dwight Jones. He's really good. He has super violent hands. He's got a nasty streak to him in the run game, like Trevor Penning, but he does it legally.
Yeah, that's another thing is, Trevor Penning is so much about, hurting the edge rusher that he ends up throwing and hurting 2 people in one play by tearing his own quarterback's ACL.
Yeah.
So, but I hated Trevor Penning personally coming out of the draft. I didn't think he was going to be able to succeed at an NFL level because he committed penalties every play. Like, it was
I was thinking, you iron it out. You iron out the penalties. He has stiff hips. You stick him at guard. You have a pretty good guard, but it just hasn't happened so far.
And he was also injured most of the year, but
he wasn't.
The minute I saw him say, "What's my favorite part about playing football?" I could legally assault.
Yeah, so Darnell Wright, like we said, he's really good in the run game. He's got that attitude you want at offensive line
not illegal.
Without injuring the other team. He just wants to put them in the dirt, not actually kill them and their family.
Not throw them into a metal bench.
So yeah, that's always good. thing I like the most about Darnell Wright, he has the best anchor out of anyone in the class, and it's actually not close. His anchor is unbelievable. He sometimes initially he'll lose, like he'll get pushed back a little bit, and then he just sinks his hips and uses those violent hands, and just you can't move him back. It's very tough to do that. He switches up his kick slide multiple times. He'll short set sometimes. He'll go further out. He's really good at like playing with the D linemen and just kind of making sure that they can't get the jump on him because his timing is different in every pass set. He does a really good job of mirroring and staying low. I've seen him miss his punch a few times and cross his feet a little bit. So he doesn't have the greatest footwork in the whole class, but it's definitely good enough, and you can clean that up, obviously. The other thing here is, this is why I don't get why he doesn't get more hype, is this is a guy who went up against Will Anderson twice his last 2 years in both 2021 and 22 and allowed like 2 pressures and no sacks in both games. That's about as good as you can do against Will Anderson. He's an awesome player. He has somewhat heavy feet, but his anchor and his hands are so good that I don't think it matters. And overall, he does have good feet. It's just like, you know what I mean? Where some guys, like, you can tell that they're a little more graceful. With him, it kind of looks like a T-Rex is going up and down and just stomping, but the feet are overall good, and he's a good player, and he shouldn't be here at 29, but he is, so I'm taking him.
At number 30, you have the Kansas City Chiefs. You guys, you're in the Super Bowl again. Deserving? No, but whatever.
Get out of here with your Bengals bias.
Anyway, from what I saw, your wide receiver core got injured to all hell in that game.
It was bad.
Kadarius Toney was out. I'm pretty sure Juju got injured too. And Juju's on a 1-year deal. I think if you
sneeze on Kadarius Toney, his ankle starts hurting.
So you need a lot of needs here, or a lot of receivers that are on the board. You have Downs, Boutte, Rice, Parker Washington, Xavier Hutchinson, who I really like. But I'm getting weird. I'm going to go Parker Washington here out of Penn State. Listen, from what I saw, he was very, very good. He is a slot guy, but he's a bigger slot. He's elite in short route running. He's elite if you get him in RPOs and quick passes, which I know the Chiefs love to do. He also has breakaway speed, which they need. He's very shifty in the open field, a lot like Jalen Hyatt, and his routes are beautiful. He can run the intermediate routes, he can run the short routes, and he can run the deep routes. I loved this kid when I watched him. I heard great things about him. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go a little bit deep in the draft and talk about someone who maybe not get noticed as much. But Parker Washington was very good. He got overshadowed by Jahan Dotson last year, but he was very good. From what I saw, he's elite in the short game and still as good as a deep threat. His catch radius is insane. He caught a ball here, and then he can reach out beyond the sidelines and toe tap. So I think you're getting a very good pick here with Parker Washington. I know it might not seem like it, but I'm telling you, he's better than Josh Downs, Boutte, Rashad Reese, Cedric Tillman.
Boutte is trash.
He's
awful. We can just move him out of there.
Maybe I would pick Xavier Hutchinson here if I watched him, because I've heard amazing things about him.
I like Rashee Rice.
He's gonna be good.
Not here, but I like him in the second.
But yeah, I think Parker Washington here. He might be projected in the 3rd round, but I'm taking him here. I love Parker Washington.
All right, 31, you got the Eagles here. There aren't 32 picks because Miami tampered and still didn't get Tom Brady, so that's just a rough
Sean
look.
Payton.
Yeah, that's just a rough look all around. If you don't even get the players, and you lose the pick. But Philly here, you took Bichon earlier. A lot of people probably not too happy with that pick. I love it, but
hate me.
This is another position that they do actually need. And it's going to be Brian Branch, safety from Bama. A lot, I see him going a lot in like the teens. I see him to the Pats too, which I do not like.
No, because we need a number 1 corner. We don't need another nickel guy, which is what he plays, or safety. We have Phillips and Duggar, and if McCourty comes back, we have McCourty. Yeah, exactly. So we're fine at safety.
Please no.
And do we still have? Who is that guy we drafted in the 6th round?
Josh Bledsoe.
Yeah. Is he even still on the team?
Yeah.
He's still there.
He was injured for part of this.
Yeah.
He had a good camp or a good preseason though.
So we have a lot of safeties. Is our point.
Brian Branch though, he's a really good athlete. He's a sound tackler. He's a pretty good hitter. The thing with Brian Branch, though, is just the Texas game, like, the first half, he didn't do anything.
He did not do anything.
Yeah.
But he looked like he didn't want to be there.
He looked like he wasn't trying. He wanted to get back on the bus.
Want to know why? You want to know why? Because Bichon Robinson scared him so much.
Exactly. He was not trying to tackle Bichon. Now he won't have to because they're on the same team, except in practice. So probably he'll have to tackle him more than anyone. But So he is, speaking of just not being good at something, he's terrible at taking on blocks, which is a weird combo because he's a pretty good hitter. I have never seen him get pressure on a blitz also, but he's a slot corner and a deep safety, but they blitzed him and it didn't work. But
so like Trenton Simpson, they blitzed him. Did it work?
Did it work? Nah.
Did they keep doing it?
They did do it.
Yes.
Yeah. He has really good ball skills and hands. I saw him get a one-hand pick, which is nasty. He closes on ball carries and receivers well. I didn't see him get beat in zone, and he looks fluid and looked good in zone and man coverage. And like I said, he's a slot and a free safety. He's just a good, solid all-around player. I've seen a lot of people say he's like top 10 on their big board, which I think is pretty outrageous.
Yeah, no, I don't.
But I like him as a back-end first-round pick, as a guy that can do a couple different things, being a deep safety and a slot corner. And for a team like the Eagles that could definitely use an upgrade at free safety, or if Avonte Maddox gets hurt, someone that can play in the slot, or if they lose Bradbury and they got to move Maddox outside, then there's your new slot with Brian Branch. So I think it's a good fit, and obviously he's going to a really good team, which is nice for him.